Okay, so this is the official first video live stream for my new campaign that I'm running my D&D group. Sorry, I have a second screen over here and I'm watching it. So my eyes are over here, not at you guys. My bad. It's okay. I could move that over here, huh? Sorry, I'm still getting used to this crap. Okay, so let me actually move my YouTube studio stuff over here because I'm not looking at anything screen related. Okay. Oh, no, I want to keep that on. Can't see me well enough. So, the campaign. Whatever. Okay. I guess I can cut that out. Welcome to my first video for my new playlist. It is the Dark World campaign, Dungeons & Dragons. Dark World is what I like to call the world. It's not affiliated with any merchandise item called Dark World or place, whatever. I don't know. It's just what I called it because it's a little dark in the setting, especially compared to what I usually have running in my D&D settings. Anyways, my last campaign, they died 2 weeks ago. Not completely. They were in the middle of their, what I put midway through the campaign quest, which usually happens at level 10. Most D&D systems are 1 to 20. So level 10 is usually when I have their, hey, you've gotten the random exploring done, you've kind of developed your characters, and they've got personalities and they have flaws, and I figured out how to throw challenges that the characters and players will both find exciting, enjoyable, and not dull for their characters at the very least. So I do a wrap-up quest of that era of the campaign, and then I do like a 5-year skip where I give them permission to create whatever story they want for their characters to proceed and set themselves up. In this case, they were going to have 5 years spent in a world or in a city, Waterdeep, and they were going to give me 5-year stories of what their character's been up to. But only 2 out of the 7 characters survived, and I have got 5 player characters and 2 DM PCs. And 2 player characters survived, and it wasn't even the 2 original characters I had. It was one of the originals and one of the newest characters. Their characters retired, went back to Waterdeep, and basically lived out the rest of their lives having completed the quest, because the 5 died in the final fight and actually took out the boss as they died. Yeah. So we're starting this new campaign, and I had a friend suggest I record it and post the videos. And then a different friend that I was talking to about it, who's neither one of these people on my D&D game group, said that they would I should live stream it instead. So that's what I'm doing. After asking permission to live stream, I was hoping to have just audio, no visual, for the game, because while we are doing a podcast that hasn't been released yet, don't ask me about that because I don't know when that will be released. I was hoping that and be able to do audio only for this, and then put up a picture of the Dark World for the setting information. Okay, so let's get into the actual information for the Dark World. So this is my map, and you might not be able to see it very well because of the light. Let's see. Can you see that? And we'll zoom in. And I will tomorrow, because I don't have a printer here. We don't meet at my house. We meet at someone else's house. tomorrow when when I go over there, I'm going to get a scan, and then I'll put that up probably on this video for now. So you have here, I'm sorry about the lightness, it's going to keep going back and forth. This middle kingdom are the remains of what you would call the good guys here. So you used to have two continents that were kind of us against the world kind of thing. And the remains of that other continent are right here. You can see there's two swirls, and those are whirlpools. Those are actual locations, whirlpools. It's not styling that you find. And there's the remains of the continent. What happened is some powerful entity, unknown, successfully cast a dark ritual. It darkened the sky, and it destroyed a continent in the process. So you have things that are normally weak to sunlight running around during the daytime. Now, considering this is Pathfinder, and I don't really know how I would modify spells such as daylight and other things, the spells themselves will still affect a vampire for, say, regularly per the Pathfinder rules, as opposed to irregularly. But the sun itself doesn't hurt them. So this is the kingdom, and they have a huge tower of prophecy in the middle of the kingdom, and there's ocean. There's a great sea. There's a gate, ocean gate, to get into it, and they're kind of protected. Tower of Prophecy is somewhere someone would go to, well, get prophecy. This kingdom itself is always looking into the future. They want the future here. Tower of Prophecy, we have the Sight Port, and then we have Future Keep, and the Promise Gate, the city around that gate that keeps way safe. And then we have over here the last major city on this Mount Sanctuary, last major city in there on that continent. Over here, the biggest threat to them is this island here. You have this you have a single city here. Mage Tower is literally named. There's a cabal of mages. You have a world wound type structure right here. And basically these mages specialize in summoning demons. Like, think Diablo style demons. And so they have been summoning them, and eventually it caused a world wound where the realm between the nine hells and the mortal plane is very thin. And so occasionally you will get demons that just kind of show up out of nowhere along this area. And they're the biggest threat to these guys, because they're actually always summoning demons and then sending them in combat, keeping them busy across the way. We have two other cities around here, which I don't really remember the purposes of them. I don't have all this stuff written down. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Let's cover that one last. Up here, we have a two-split big continent here. Right? It's split about here. And over here, we have Vampire Lands. Over here, we have the Vampire Lands. So you notice, instead of circles I have for my cities, these are all squares. These are castles. Vampires in castles, and they're fortress-style castles. So they're high walls, fully enclosed kind of thing. You know, the kind of thing you expect vampires who can't deal with sunlight to live in. There is several of them, and each one is ruled by a single vampire lord, who rules over all the other vampires in his thing. And then there's a single city in the area, in the land up here by this mountain range, called the Council of Lords. It's for the most part a normal city, but whenever the lords need to get together to declare war or fight over something that's not necessarily normal preview between fighting each other, they'll meet there. For good reason, no, it's neutral ground to all the vampires in the area. Okay, and then opposite them, we have a three-part land separation here. We have, sorry, it's hard to do this with all my other maps. Getting some non-custom made maps. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we have the three lands here. We have on top, Land of the Moon, Land of the Sun, and Land of the Shadow. These are werewolf lands. You have three styles of werewolves, essentially. Sun werewolves, moon werewolves, shadow werewolves. They are in a territorial dispute amongst the three of them. But they do not look kindly to outsiders. So invading them is a bit of a difficulty, and as almost always in whenever you have werewolves and vampires at the same time, they fight. So they are actually in a conflict. Okay. Essentially, this world is a lot of trying to figure out who or what dark force is going to rule over the world. They're in competition with each other. Okay. That leads us back down south. And we'll go over here onto the right side of this first. All the way down here. We have another split in half by war. You have the single peninsula, which has a castle that is similar in design to the castles of the north from the vampires. The thing about this is that this war that's raging on between these two nations, they're fighting over this peninsula. And occasionally war will get to one of these other cities on either side, but they have to get through the peninsula first. So it's a contested no man's land, essentially, that maybe one day someone on this side takes the fort and they hold it for a week and then they lose it again to this side. So it's just a kind of constant battle. And the two factions that are fighting, there's an elvish side, there's a dwarven side. So they're really at each other's throats, as can happen sometimes in dwarf and elf lore. Not all the time, but sometimes. And considering this is Dark World, makes sense. Okay, so moving up, but not over here yet. Over here, okay, we have, what do they call this? The Darkened Kingdom. It's those outside of it believe that's probably who someone in there probably cast the ritual which darkened the sun and destroyed this continent up here. So this one is interesting. The humans, commoners, are normal humans. Your noble are all undead. And the thing is that the more powerful the nobles are, the better version of an undead they are. The king himself is a lich. Probably could consider him a grand lich instead of just a regular lich. And so, like, the lowest knight, the lowliest noble is a zombie. They don't stay a zombie, though. The thing is that for some reason the undead can evolve into other forms of undead as they get more influence, become smarter, and develop more power. Something I don't expect necessarily my players to listen to this. Something they don't know is this one. And this is the nation. This world is one that I had a campaign on before. They died to this nation, that last campaign. And this one is prepping for war. They're in my setting, this setting in particular, there are skyships. And we're talking magic powered. So if you've ever played, what's the name of that game? It's Valkyria Chronicles. Their engines are these blue in the game. That's They're blue blocks. They're actually weak points in vehicles in that game. Um, so if you don't have a tank, you shoot at that weak point that has to be exposed because the heat it gives off to do damage to a vehicle with a machine gun or something. Anyways, so sky ships exist. They have these engines. They are constantly pulling magic. They're magic field engines, but they operate like sky ships from, I want to say, Final Fantasy IV. They're basically ships in the sky, like sailing ships in the sky. Okay, so they were going somewhere here along to a different area, and they got attacked. They were on a sky ship. They got attacked by a military. They were on a commercial sky ship. They got attacked by a military sky ship from them, and they ended up dying. They ended up killing everybody on the other sky ship, but both sky ships ended up burning, and one of them, they abandoned the one they were on to get onto the military one, and the player who was sabotaging the military one ended up blowing it up. And so everybody died, except for one person who ended up in the ocean adrift for 3 weeks before they died of starvation. That sucked for that campaign. Okay. This area here is known as the Wildlands. I like to... Hold on. Not the Wildlands. The Untamed Lands. I like to include a wildland area in pretty much every world I make. Just something that's untamed, and that depends on the tech level. Because I've played lots of games, and several of them are high tech. So I mean, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for an untamed area to exist, except if there were creatures that could not be tamed, like dinosaurs or something like that. And funny enough, there's dinosaurs. This unconquered land, however, is full of resources, lots and lots of natural resources. So you have the Darkened Port for them, Blood Port for the vampires, Drow Port, which I haven't gotten to the Drow lands yet. There's a Drow Port there for the Drow lands. Intervention Port, obviously. Let's see, Demon's Reach. So they made an outpost. My wizards made an outpost. It's called a Demon Reach. Let's see. And I do not think I gave the werewolves a city, which makes sense. They don't need a city there. It's wildlands, so you're more likely to come across them just because. Okay, and then we've got 2 more lands to cover here. The Drow lands here. These Drow lands are a series of islands controlled and lived in by the Drow, instead of living in the Underdark. I don't remember there being an Underdark in this one. Basically, there's no, as you can see, there's no cities. These islands appear uninhabited to the uninformed. However, the Drow are very territorial and will sink ships. And of course, the Drow, so they have access to good magic, so they will, if someone's sailing by, actually on the sea, not in the sky, they could cast spells that allow them to breathe underwater and basically take ships and do what they will with them. The Drow are kind of a dark enigma, essentially. No one really knows what's going on with them here, but they are. Okay, and the last one. These are the Hidden Islands, the Hidden Kingdoms. You have Port Moral. Yes, Port Moral, right here, is once again another. It's these 3 islands. 1, 2, 3. Only city in the area. These islands are the islands of assassins. If you go here, you could hire an assassin to try and kill anybody you want. There, you'll find somebody willing to try the contract. The rest of the cities are hidden, and they're assassin training grounds. Think Naruto, Hidden Leaf Village, Hidden Stone Village, Hidden Sand Village, whatever they were called. So you have basically a bunch of assassins, and when they want to either leave the islands permanently or they want to get contracts that will take them to another part of the world, that's where they go. And that's the world. I did the islands last because that's where the party is starting. I asked them, I gave them a description, I told them the lands, and asked them where they wanted to start. That's where they wanted to start. Okay. So that's enough about the world. Now the next part here is a bit about the characters, which I need my phone because I asked them to text me. Asked them to text me the information today. Come on. There we go. So I asked them to text me the information today, and they did. All right, I have to put something in there. I'm letting someone know. Really? Spelling. I wanted to get that message out. Okay, so I got 4 characters. Now the reason why there were there's 5 player characters in the last campaign is because I used to only have 2 players, and I got a 3rd player, and then he dropped out. I got a 4th player, he dropped out too. But now I have 4 players total, and I actually got a pair to stay, and they seem pretty invested. So, and they've been around for I think about 3 months, 4 months now. So, certain they're staying, especially since they're doing the podcast with us too. Anyways, so when there was only 2 players, and that's why there's 2 DMPCs, because they picked up a DMPC that I ran, and then they through some adventuring hijinks, they ended up with another one who married one of the original characters of that campaign. Anyways, not that. Anyways, they had I chose the original people, asked them if they wanted to create a second character piece to have a better feel about party. One of them wanted to, and so he created a character, and I let him keep the character when we got new players. Who just told him if one of your characters dies, you're not gonna get to create a new character for that one. I mean, you get a new character if both die because you're still playing, but if one of your 2 characters dies and the other one lives, you're not getting a new one. Just so that I don't have a bunch of people playing the same characters, or a person playing 2 characters while everybody else is playing one. I've had some good success with that, and I've had some bad success with that. Anyways, okay, so I've got 4 players. I've got do I have a name? Okay, character names. I got 2 names. Okay, I got 2 names, not 4 names. Anyways, one of them is a slayer. So Slayer is a mix between a fighter and a rogue. They're a little bit more on the killing things side than the neat tricks of the rogue, like pickpocketing. Okay. We have, who apparently is an ex-noble. That's what my notes say here. They told me. Ran away with another character because they were arranged to be married, but they see each other as friends. I don't expect them to watch this video. If there is no bonus content for them, I'm going to do something with that. They're going to be hunted. Someone wants them dead. Of course they do. It's a dark world, and they were nobles, and they ran away. Yeah, someone wants them dead. Definitely. I'm not sure how long it'll take for that to become apparent, but it will eventually. Okay. Let's see. We have. So all the characters know each other. That's what they told me. So they changed each other's friends, so they fled. And I'm guessing that the other characters are noble too, but I've got to actually ask tomorrow when I'm getting ready to start. Because nobles don't tend to arrange marriages to non-nobles, but we'll see. Okay, we got we have a player named AJ, but we keep doing weird things, so I'm laughing because he's OJ in this text message. We just keep changing the first letter of his name. First letter of his name. Okay. They've helped us escape. And the last player character is in a one-way sisterly relationship with now it's QJ. It's a character. Okay. And so we have the shaman, who is named Flicka. And they wrote it Flyka, and I'm like, Flyka? But they gave me a pronunciation guide, which I'm very thankful for. They thought I was being sarcastic when I said that, but I am actually thankful for it. It's Flicka. Okay. And that makes, and she is a shaman, which I believe is another hybrid style class between cleric and fighter, I think. Or is it witch and cleric? I think it's a witch and something else. I don't remember on the top of my head. Okay. So apparently they received designed insight that they needed to be with the group. That's another plot point I can use. Definitely important. I've got to figure out which god they worship, though. I have a set of 27 unique gods that are available in a pantheon. Technically, each god belongs to 3 separate pantheons. you have 9 gods of each alignment. So you have 9 evil gods. You have 9 neutral gods. You have 9 lawful gods. You have 9 chaotic gods. Oh, it's good gods. Sorry. 9 good gods. You have 9 lawful gods. You have 9 chaotic gods. Okay. So the evil gods aren't just like only the evil pantheon. Like this god is chaotic evil. So he belongs to the evil pantheon. So he's part of this collection of gods that are worshipped as an evil group. But he's chaos. So he's also worshipped as a chaos god. So he belongs to 2 separate pantheons, which is an interesting idea. And it sounds a little less lawful now that I think about it. But it is something I came up with several years ago. I am going to do a video on those gods, probably just in a general D&D video or stream. I don't know which one I'll do at that point. Okay, so that'll be another interesting point if they're being directed by a god. At least one of the characters is. Okay, you have the one-sided person who has a relationship with the one-sided relation attachment. That's what it is. Attachment is well, it's PJ now, but their class is Swashbuckler. Now they won't tell me their races because they're pulling some sort of joke / prank, and hopefully it's going to be actually entertaining. And then the last character, whose name I didn't get, but is the arranged marriage on the other side of the arranged marriage, is a Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler is a... Oh, no, it's an oracle. Sorry. An oracle is like a cleric, except instead of praying to their deity and getting granted powers, they're basically, you have powers. I don't care if you want them or not. You have powers. And somehow, one way or another, what you do as you would go out and live your life, well, I'm influencing it, and it's going to benefit me one way or another. And that's how oracles work, mostly. I mean, there is it's just a force that chose you, and you have no say in it. I have a character among my friends group that is hilarious. Not this friends group, but a different friends group, who was an oracle of time. Now, oracles get a mystery, and it's like this one's an oracle with a mystery of shadows. It's going to be interesting. But my character at the time that I played had the mystery of time. And it came with some base abilities at level 1, and then got more abilities as time went on. But one of his abilities early on was the fact that you can't remember details about him specifically. And he was a halfling. So it was like, what color is his eyes? And I named him Zhao Ming. That is his actual name. But being that my friends like to tease me, and I do tease them back, Zhao Ming. Chow Mein. So they started coming up with names that were similar to the character name, but not his actual name. It was hilarious. So that was interesting. So there you have it. That's the intro to the Dark World campaign. I should be starting tomorrow. It is pretty late, and I haven't been feeling all that great today, but feeling a lot better now. I'm going to take some ibuprofen before I go to bed. It's really late, and hopefully get enough sleep to be awake. And as you noticed, I coughed a couple of times. We'll see if I feel well enough to actually have this session. If not, I'll have to wait another week, which will kind of suck. But it is what it is. So I look forward to potentially having someone listening during the live streams. But even if I don't, it'll be great to just have people coming back and watching the views later. I've also noticed that I now have six subscribers. Went from 3 to 6. Awesome. Amazing. I love it. I love the subscribers. I love you guys. I have no idea who you are for the most part. But you guys are amazing. I hope you have a good week or a good night. And hopefully you'll see me tomorrow as I stream my first D&D game. First streamed game. Okay, this is Mr. Decker out. I might come up with a different intro for exit for my D&D game.